Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Hands-on SAP Dev 2022. Oh my goodness me. I'm super excited. I've been a bit panicky this morning because everything has been going wrong. I've got an old Lenovo T420 laptop that's, not that this is related at all, but it's running Windows, so I've just completely no idea what to do. And it was going on a screensaver every minute. I couldn't figure out why the screen was going blank. What a fool. So I'm using that for my YouTube studio so I can monitor the chat over there. When I'm looking over there, that's where I'm looking at the chat. So good morning to everybody. Good morning, Niels. Good morning, Andrew. I'm going to say good morning instead of afternoon and evening, whatever. Good morning, Helmut, Leo, Volker, Andy, Mark, Subba. So good to be back. Really nice, really lovely to have you all. I hope everything is okay from a technical perspective. Lars, happy new Gregorian calendar. I can't even say it, Lars. Happy new Gregorian calendar year. Yes. What was it that you used to say, Lars? Was it you, Lars, that said happy new sun cycle around the sun or something? I can't remember. No, that was the Earth. Anyway, I don't know. I've no idea. I need more coffee. Definitely need some more coffee. I'm super excited. Good morning, Andy and Jodelle as well. Yes, fantastic. Good day, everyone. Good day to you, Jodelle. So I've got my coffee on my hands-on SAP Dev OAuth at 8 a.m. mug, the classic, of course. So yeah, today we're going to talk about BTP CLI scripting. Hopefully some, if not all of you, managed to catch either live or the replay of the Developer Keynote at SAP TechEd last year. It was a lot of fun, and all sorts of different things sort of showcased there by lots of the developer advocates. And Ian, good morning, Ian. Have you been running this morning? I didn't see. Anyway, have a good run whenever you run. And my bit was on the BTP CLI, and specifically what I want to talk about is, it's behind my head, isn't it? I'll just move it. Anyway, I'm going to talk about a little bit of BTP CLI scripting. I wrote a couple of blog posts as sort of a follow-up to what I showed on the Developer Keynote, and I thought it'd be fun, just to learn together to sort of go through the BTP GUID script, look at the output from the BTP CLI that it's trying to parse. And I think we'll do it first of all. Maybe we won't complete it in the hour. I'm still on the idea that we'll just do an hour each time. I do have a desire to do a longer live stream, but I know it doesn't fit with. Okay, tomorrow, Ian. Well done. I know it doesn't fit with many of your schedules and busy meeting schedules and so on Friday. So we'll keep it to an hour. So we might go over to next week. Oh, that's better. Oh yeah. I've had a coffee this morning after my run, yeah. Anyway, so I want to set the scene, but before we do, let me just go to the main scene. This is me there. When I posted this question about, thinking about, let me make that bigger, thinking about the first Hands-on SAP Dev live stream of 2022 this coming Friday. Who's up for it? There seemed to be like a meme or a theme of memes. So, in fact, in no particular order, but I think I'll do it in reverse order. I think Niels, I think you started it off, did you? I'm not quite sure, but that was a nice meme. All of you saying yes. And then we had Ronnie. Nice one, Ronnie. I don't know whether Ronnie's here or not, he managed to make it or not, but welcome, Ronnie, if you are, and hi if you're watching the replay. So that was a good one from Ronnie. And we had this classic, I didn't know this one at all, from Helmut. What's his face? What's that actor's name? I can't remember. So that was really good. And then Burak, a classic there from Burak. And then finally, not finally. Is that not safe for work? For sure. Oh no, that's okay. For sure. I thought it said something else then. But there we go. Had to keep the gifts coming. Well done, Phil. On the gifts. And then of course Vladimir's quite classic. I'm not sure whether that dog was really doing that or whether it's like a Photoshop thing. But anyway, I thought I'd share those. I can kill this. I can move this live stream thing away because I've got it over there now. So that's cool. Well, I'll just leave it anyway. So the context. Let me go straight to a terminal session because that's where we all feel comfortable. The context of what I want to talk about is BGU. BTP GUID was a little alias. I don't know whether I've got it in it. See, you can tell I'm not prepared. No, I don't have a BGU alias here. Oh, hold on. Type BGU. Sorry, type BGU. Yes, it's a function. It's a function. Okay. So BGU is a function. And I explained that. If you've not seen the blog posts, I'll put the links shortly onto the chat. Good morning, John. Good morning, John. Welcome to 2022 as well. So BGU is a script. Sorry. Start again. BGU is a function, and it calls BTP GUID, which is what we're going to look at. But also, what BGU does is it says if I've passed more than one parameter to it, then also if I'm setting the target, I'm going to update with this context here, the status, and the status is sort of down here. Okay, but let's ignore this bit for now and just look at the BTP GUID script. Okay, so if we say type BTP GUID, it's a script. Okay, we'll have a look at the script in a minute. But what the script does, let's remind ourselves. BTP, am I logged in? I think I'm logged in. Yes, I'm logged into a trial account, and what it does is allow us, or it gets for us, the GUID of a thing, the GUID specifically of a sub-account or a directory on our BTP global account. Because when we're using the BTP GUID, or even when we're using the BTP CLI, or when we're using the BTP APIs, the cloud service APIs, we don't deal in display names like trial or my sub account or whatever. We deal in GUIDs. And so a lot of the, if we say here BTP creates account sub account and have a look at the help, we will see that if we wanted to, is there a parent somewhere? Oh no, directory, that's right. Directory, is it there? Create a sub-account in a global account or directory. And if we wanted to create a sub-account in a directory, we have to say, specify what that directory is, but not by the directory name, but by the directory ID. Okay, so we need GUIDs a lot. Now, what do these GUIDs look like? If we say BTP get accounts global account, that gives us some information. And we can see the global account ID is this thing here, right? That's the global account ID. So there's the GUID 10A1, blah, 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 blah. But more importantly, if we say show hierarchy, it'll give us a bit of a hierarchy, which is quite nice. Okay. And it will tell us, for example, I'm going to use a mouse pointer. We've got our global account here, and the global account has one child, which is a sub-account. The sub-account has a display name of trial, and here are the GUIDs in brackets, okay? So we get this sort of nice sort of graphical representation, like a tree format. But then we also get a flat table of columns, okay? Sub-account. Now, if BTP login, I've got my own special login thing here. BTP login, hands-on CPDev. Here's another trial account. Hold on. Whoa. There we go. Now I'm in a different account. If I do that again, we can see that I've got, for example, a little bit more interesting sort of family of things. So I've got a trial account there directly as a child of the global account, and I've got a directory as a direct child of the global account, and then within that directory I've got a sub account which is a child of that directory. Okay, so it's a little bit. Maybe we'll use this one. Maybe we'll use this one. Yeah, let's use this one as an example because it's a bit, there's a bit more to it. So the BTP GUID script really is all about allowing me to say, give me the GUID of the thing that's called trial, or of the thing that's called hands-on SAP dev dir, or of the thing that's called hands-on SAP dev sub, and it will give me the GUID. Okay, in fact, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try BGU. Does that work? I've not even tried this. Don't do this. Trial, BGU trial. Okay, it gives us the trial. There we go. So it gives us the GUID of the trial, 07E5, 07E5. Now, there's also a -t option or a -- target that I added, and that I think will trigger that other thing we saw in the function. And there we go. It sets then some various details about the thing I'm targeting, because that basically is saying target. Okay. So by the way, ask questions, make comments, point out the things I'm doing wrong. Tell me what you're thinking. This is all about us learning together, right? This is all about us doing things together, not just about me having a monologue. So, chat away and let me know what you think. So by the way, let's just BGU again. Let's just remind ourselves. In fact, let's keep that there and say type BGU. There we go. So basically that $hash is number of parameters passed to the thing, to the BGU script in this example. If it's more than one, then, it's going to be a -t is the first one and trial is the second one. So there's two. Then use BTP CTX. Goes and gets the context of BTP. BTP CTX will give me a nice stringified version of the data that's in my context, okay, to do with my BTP configuration file that's currently set since I logged in. Okay, so there's the email address I'm using, or the first part of the email address that I'm logged in as. There's my global account ID or display name, sorry. And there's the first 8 bytes of the GUID of that global account. Okay, so that just there puts it in the tmux status bar to remind me, which trial account or which account generally I'm working with at that particular time. Now, let's have a quick look, BTP GUID, at the GUID script itself to explain first of all, and we'll dive in a little bit more in a minute, what this -t does. Okay, make it a bit like there, that's a bit better, there we go. So -t, there we go, usage, -t or -- target, okay, targets, there, let's look for the targets, there. Oh, actually, there we go, yeah. Somebody said something, Jadel, what does BGU stand for? It stands for, it's because I'm lazy, so I just wanted a 3-character thing. It stands for BTP GUID, okay, so BTP GUID is the script, and BGU is what I type in as the function that calls the script and does something else as well. So that just stands for BTP GUID. So if requested, set the subtype as the target. Now, has anybody already used the -- target option of BTP, of the BTP CLI? When you're using the BTP CLI, quite often you want to work with a specific directory, or you want to work with a specific account. Let's say you've got a trial account and you want always to be working with your trial sub-account. Okay, you can set using BTP target, okay, and then -- sub-account or -- directory, specify the GUID of that sub-account or that directory, and it will then, if I say BTP like that, you can see it will then not only have the global account as a target, but also have that sub-account. It will set that as a target for subsequent BTP commands that work on a sub-account, for example. Okay, so that's really really helpful. So Subha, hi. Subha is BGU custom defined. Yes, BGU is the one we looked at just then. Let me show you, Subha. Yep. Type BGU. That's just a function that I've defined. And I'll show you where I've defined it to explain that a little bit better. If I go into here and say, go into my dot files, --rc.d. If I look in my, I think I've got a specific, 84. I've got a specific script that defines various functions relating to SAP BTP. Let's just zoom that in. Ooh, I've got some shell check issues there. Oh, source undefined. Anyway, so I've got BTP wrapper, BTP, BTP Go, and BGU. Okay, so that's where my BGU is defined. What's it saying there? In POSIX, sure. Ah, yeah, it's because I've not defined. It thinks set a file type equals bash. Is it? Is that going to help? There we go. There we go. Now I tell Vim to tell shell check that it's bash, not sh. And it's not POSIX, and then those shell check things, those shell check warnings go away. But anyway, that's another thing. So does that answer your question, Sober? This is something I've defined to help me. And that's the wonderful thing about scripting and working in the command line and using these wonderful tools like the BTP CLI, because you can sort of customize it to your own needs, right? So let's dig in to the the BTP GUID script, okay? Now, let's just remind ourselves again, we don't need that one. Let's remind ourselves again of what this looks like. So we want to be able to say, I want to specify BG, we'll use the BTP GUID script. We'll have a look at the script in a minute. And I'll say hands-on SAP dev dir, okay? That will give me, you know, the GUID 581A of the thing that's got a display name of hands-on SAP dev dir, okay? Now, what we're going to do in this session is have a look how that works, okay? And also, and keep me on track here, also have a debate with ourselves about the merits and, you know, the pros and cons of trying to parse this stuff and trying to parse more machine readily machine parsable JSON output, because not only do we have this output, let's do that again, right? Not only do we have that output, but we also can say to the BTP CLI, give me that stuff in JSON format. There we go. And in fact, let me just pipe that into FX, for example, and we can have a look at that. So FX is a wonderful sort of JSON explorer. There are other ones we'll be using shortly, but this you know, it's a little bit Vim-like, and you can collapse and expand and so on with the normal keys and everything. So there we go. We can see that this is the JSON equivalent, and we'll be parsing this as we get down the line. Okay, so this is all the information. So there's the children. So the global account has a child. There's a child which is hands-on SAP dev dir, which is a directory, but it also has a sub-account. Okay, so there's a distinction. There's an explicit distinction in the property names between a directory as a child and a sub-account as a child. Okay, you just have to be aware of that's what the output looks like in JSON. Where's this JSON coming from? It's actually coming from the cloud service APIs. Okay, so what BTP CLI is doing for us is calling these APIs for us, but in a really, really comfortable way. Okay, but we'll get onto the JSON, when we get onto it. So let's have a look at this. In fact, why don't we do this, right? What we'll do is we'll pipe the output into hierarchy.txt. Okay. So if we now, oh, hold on, we don't want the format JSON. There we go. BTP get there. Okay, so we've got that. This is what we're going to parse. Okay. Now the BTP GUID script is the focus of this topic, what is it called? Episode. BTP GUID. This is a script that I, again, wrote myself, and it's available online. I've pointed to it in the blog posts. Got some documentation, and it's basically saying, we've got this output here. The output looks like this, all this stuff here, and it's the second part of the output of the table that's used. So what we're going to do, what this script does, is it looks for the name that you specify as this third thing here, where the first thing is either a sub-account or a directory, and it will then return you the ID. So we're going to write this, not from scratch, but we're going to write it sort of manually together. But just to give you an idea, this is it. That's all it is. There's one function here, main, and that Let's go down to the bottom there. That is really all there is to it. Now, but let's write it together slowly and surely. Is that something that's going to be helpful? But then, and I want to emphasize this, we will hopefully see that parsing this particular type of output is fraught with a little bit of problem, okay? Because there's a lot of structure in this output. +1 for parsing the JSON. Andrew, thank you. Yes, absolutely right. Let me know if we all want to go straight to parsing the JSON. By the time you've had a chance to think about that and answer the question, we don't have to make a decision right now, but we can go straight to JSON, or we can try and parse this. But anyway, let's start by let's start a new script. Okay, so let's go into work, hands-on SAP Dev. Got nothing in there, right? Okay, so new script, BTP. Let's call it BTP GUID. Hands-on SAP Dev, what are we going to call it? BTP GUID, okay? Really short. It's just going to be a script we're going to create together. Okay, so there's our little sort of template, okay? And in fact, why don't we do this? Let's have another window here. And what we can do is we can say list BG, and then use ENTR to listen out for changes to that script. And when it's changed, we can run it, BG. Okay, so that is good, doing nothing at the moment because the script is doing nothing. But if I now go here and say echo hello hands on SAP Dev peoples. There we go. Okay, so parse the text output first so we know why the JSON is simply easier. Thank you, Andrew. Good decision, I think. Yes, we'll do that. By the way, thank you, Andrew and Suba and Jodel for commenting and asking questions. Please ask questions all the time. Questions are the way we all learn from each other, right? Okay, so what we want to do really is call the BTP. In fact, let's do this now. Let's make it. Let's call it. I thought that. Hold on, highlight. I've been messing around with my match paren color term background equals something like that. That's a bit better. Okay, anyway. So we'll call it get hierarchy. Okay, get hierarchy, and we'll say BTP get accounts global account show hierarchy. Okay. Okay, so we'll do that. Some function, okay, some function's not named. So we'll say get hierarchy. There we go. Let's save that. And there we go. We get the hierarchy. Okay, it's not really exciting. Let's just zoom that in to see. There we go. So that's so far so good. Okay, so we've got a script that's calling that. Now, as you can notice here, we've got this new line, this OK, which we don't want. This is actually coming out of standard error. There is a discussion internally. Hopefully we're going to get rid of that. So let's just do that for now. Let's redirect standard error to dev null to throw it away. So we can see there, it's gone. There we go. There, it's gone. No, okay. Okay. Now, bear in mind that that's a little bit dangerous. Let's just move that across a bit. Yeah, that's a little bit dangerous. By the way, if I make this text a little bit one smaller, so we can all see a little bit more, is that still big enough? Hopefully it is. I think it is. Why is that dangerous? Why is that sort of, a solution that brings its own problems, redirecting standard error to dev null to get rid of the OK? Why shouldn't I do that? Let me know in the chat. But really, we've got that now. Okay, so we can start to parse it. So what we'll say is, we'll define a variable local hierarchy equals get hierarchy. Right, there we go. And then that's saying there, local hierarchy, declare and assign separately. Okay, we'll do that then. Hierarchy, there we go. And that is also hierarchy appears unused. Okay, that's fine. Echo, in fact, we'll just say, yeah, echo hierarchy. There we go, there. Okay, so we're doing the same thing. Yeah, we're calling the hierarchy function, which is calling BTP get accounts global account show hierarchy. Yes, Andrew is on point tonight. Thank you, Andrew. We will not see other standard error messages. And Helmut is saying you can make it smaller again. Oh, you can make it smaller again. Thank you, Helmut. Right, okay, that's good. And I can move that back a bit more. Thank you, Helmut. Okay, so yeah, exactly. We're masking any real errors that would occur. Okay, but I'm going to do that for now because, you know, that's fine. We're all friends here. So we've got that. Now, what we really want to do, and we'll maybe we'll open up another session. Let's have a look at the hierarchy. Cat, I thought I put it into a thing. No, all right, obviously not. Show BTP get accounts, or a global account, show hierarchy. Let's get rid of, well, you don't need that in. And then pipe that into hierarchy.text. I thought I'll create a text somewhere, but anyway, that's fine. So look, yeah, there we go. Okay, fine. Okay, so now cat hierarchy.text, and that's what we've got to work with. Now, what we'll do is we'll play around. If we have a look at the Vic BTP GUID script, the heart of it is this line here, which is quite, if you look at it for a second. So we'll do it, break it down bit by bit. Okay, so when we're doing what I agree with Andrew. We're doing what Andrew suggested. We'll go through and parse the sort of the textual version first. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically use the information in these lines, okay, to find out the GUID of the display name that we specify. Andrew says, why the wrapping is local? Just to explicitly make the function non-global? Yes. I'm not sure. There we go. We got the wrapping in it. I wrap things in functions to have sort of small chunks of functionality, and then within functions you have this local keyword, which is actually just a bit of syntactic sugar for a specific type of declare. Help declare. I don't know. Local. There we go. If creating a local variable, inherit the attributes. When using a function, declare makes the names local as with the local command. Okay, so you can use the declare, but I like to use the sort of the local alias to declare in a function, just to remind myself that it's local. Okay, that's what that is. So that's that. Hope that answer your question, Andrew. Okay, so we're going to be parsing these things here. So let's use the standard sort of tool of choice, which is go up there and just get rid of that, which is grep. So if I say grep directory in the hierarchy.text, okay, so we get all sorts of things. We get 3 lines. We get this one there with that directory is on that line. Directory is also on that line, and directory is also on that line because the parent type is directory. So what we want to do is anchor that thing that we're looking for to the start of the line. By the way, I thought it might be quite fun to sort of go through a little bit of regular expression stuff, just to sort of demystify a little bit. Let me know if let me know if you're a regular expression fan, expert, beginner. Tell me what you think about regular expressions and what your experience is. It's always useful to know. And as we'll see, there are different flavors. There are different flavors of regular expression. There's extended regular expressions, which we'll use in a minute, and there's also Perl compatible regular expressions, which are super powerful. And there's also a flavor of regular expressions you get in Vim, which is a bit weird. So it's just, it's like, different flavors of the language. So what we'll do is we'll say, well, that's okay, directory, okay, but we also want we want either directory or subaccount. Okay, so let's do that. But we don't get anything because that either or in brackets is part of the extended regular expression vocabulary. So we need to specify, I want to use extended regular expressions. So then we get that. Okay. By the way, so Andrew is saying, Jodel is saying, I'm okay with regex, but I'm lost with your shell scripts. Okay. Well, hopefully the more we look at it, Jodel, and please keep me on track. And if you need anything explaining or, if I've done something wrong, let me know. Andrew is saying not proficient, have to look things up all the time except for the most common patterns. Okay, I use regex quite often, but I'm not an expert. Okay, so I'm gonna take from that it's worth having a little bit of a look at the regular expression stuff. So we can see here that the open normal brackets, parentheses with a pipe saying alternatives, directory or subaccount, but that whole thing, that whole brackets is anchored to the start of the line. Okay, so we're not getting the lines with directory where the directory is sort of somewhere further down the line there or there, for example. Okay, so now what we really want is then we want to make sure that it's the right one. So we'll say followed by some spaces. So plus means at least one, maybe more. Okay, star means maybe one, maybe none. So we want at least one, and backslash s is a special character class, which represents white space. Okay, so that should still match. Okay, now let's just remind ourselves, just so we know BTP GUID sorry, I'm getting so excited here. Remind ourselves of what this grep thing is doing, because you've maybe seen this in the blog post that I wrote. Okay, we've got this backslash small s, we've got the backslash capital S, and we've got this weird thing here. Okay, so we're going to do all these different things. So now, so let's do that again. Bring that up. Now, what we're doing here, we want to find lines with starting with directory or subaccount, and then we want to find a whole load of stuff, at least one, not white space. So capital S, well, small s is white space, a white space character, and plus means one or more. And capital S means not white space character, as in anything else that's not white space. Plus, as in at least one, maybe more. Okay, so now we're saying, okay, fine, that's the same thing. Okay, we're going to get the same thing, but it's still complying with that regular expression. Ian is saying, beginner with regex used for specific situation to check a transport title against naming convention. Useful. Yes, it is super useful. And that is a wonderful example of, where regexes are used everywhere in CTS. Oh my goodness me. I've not thought about CTS for a long time. Data files and co-files, use that trans. Oh my goodness me. I'm probably very out of date. Oh, hello. Is that Alexander? Alexander is saying, are there any differences between regex in ABAP and JavaScript? Ampersand, question mark. Thank you, Andrew. Business application programming supports extended regular expressions in accordance with POSIX standard 1003.2. Yes, thank you, Andrew. I will defer to Andrew's answer. I did think that it was extended regular expression that ABAP supported, but it's pretty awesome actually. So yeah, so anything we're looking at here is translatable more or less to the ABAP stack, which is great. So yeah, while I say there are different flavors, generally it's the same sort of thing. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're saying that, but now why have we put brackets around the backslash capital S? Because that's a capture group. Okay. The first set of brackets is not a capture group. It will still capture, but it's used as a sort of an either or. So if we now say minus O, it will just, and minus O says, it's in fact help grep, minus O. If O is only matching, okay, only matching. So only matching basically just prints only the matched things that we're matching, okay, not the whole line. So if we go here, minus O, it will only print the things in brackets that it's matched. So if we now bring that back to with the capital S there as well at the end and add the minus O, it will only give us those, okay? Now, that's cool. Peter says, yes, there are differences. Yes, there are differences, definitely. Subtle differences, but differences all the same. Actually, maybe subtle differences are more tricky than obvious differences. I don't know. Anyway, so the next thing we did in here, where is it? In here is this weird construct here. So let's do this construct. We don't need that. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Now, this thing here is saying followed by some non-white space, as in followed by the ID, followed by some more white space, which is this white space here, that will still match, okay? Then, and we don't want this, then we're going to use a positive look-ahead assertion, something in there. Now, these are crazy powerful. This is saying it doesn't consume any of the string as it's matching, but it looks sort of ahead to say, this is going to be followed up there somewhere. Or there's also a negative look behind. There are look ahead assertions and there are look behind assertions, and there are positive look ahead and look behind assertions, and there are negative look ahead and look behind assertions, which is basically saying also what's got to be there or what's not got to be there in front or behind me is this, and that's what we're doing here. So this is a positive look ahead assertion to say there's also got to be, in fact, yeah, we'll put the spaces there, some spaces, and then the thing that we're looking for. So if we say trial, okay, let's see what happens. Oh, trial, what's going on? Plus some spaces. Yes, okay, so it's not matched. Why is that not matched? Because this is not extended regular expression. Look ahead and look behind assertions are part of the Perl compatible regular expression family, PCRE. So we now have to say, capital P, so I'm using the Perl compatible regular expressions. There we go. So now we reduce the output of that grep to the single line, starting with the word subaccount, then some white space, then non-white space, which is the ID, which was what we're looking for. And then this thing here has made sure we only get not this subaccount line on this directory line, this subaccount line, but only the one where further down the line, as it were, we've got the string trial. Okay, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. So that's how we do it. That is what this whole thing is here. Let's just visualize that. There, the $display name there is a variable in the actual script, but that's the same sort of thing. Okay, so that's what we've been doing. Now, the problem with that is that display names, and I've put this in the blog post as well. Hey, Icy Bavaria, hello Douglas, welcome Douglas. The problem with this is that it gets a little bit brittle because as you can see here, all my display names are sort of single strings. But you can have a display name. Okay. Let's do another one. Let's say let's just get the directory hands on SAP dev dir. Okay, so it's found the directory and it's found the ID. Now, by the way, what we're doing is we're just then going and reading the output. In fact, let's do that manually. Okay, so we can say read -r. By the way, help read. The -r do not allow backslashes to escape any characters. That's what you normally want all the time. So if there are backslashes in the thing that you're reading, you don't want those backslashes to work as they would normally do in the shell. Okay, so that's what -r is. So that's that. So if we say read -r type, the type and the GUID, and we'll read it. Where do we read it from? Well, we're going to use a here string, as in a whole lump of stuff in a string. We can say take that as standard input to read. Okay, so if we say then that, then we can say echo the type, there it is, and echo the GUID. There it is. So that's how we then pull information, white space separated information here, whether that's tabs or white space, it doesn't matter. Read by default will use the so-called IFS, the input field separator, which is defined by default, if you don't define it, as basically white space, new lines, spaces and tabs. Okay, so it will separate things out, separated by new lines, white spaces and tabs, any combination thereof, and give you the things. Okay, and then you can plonk them in to an array or into individual variables. Okay, that's cool. So that's what that's doing. That's what, in fact, yeah, that's what that read is doing. Now, what were to happen if we were to have, and this is where it gets a little bit brittle, a sub-account or a directory with a display name that had a space in it. Okay, so let's create one. BTP create accounts directory. What do we need for that? Constraint violated. That's really sort of a, an extreme severe message, isn't it? Quite like that. Constraint violated. You must provide parameter display name. Okay, so let's just create a display name. Create accounts directory. Display name another directory. Okay, so that's the display name, and we'll just create it, without specifying a directory within which we want it to be. So it's, it's going to be a direct child of global account. Let's do that. Okay, command runs in the background. Use BTP get accounts directory to verify status. But actually, what we can do, let's go to the top here and let's do that again. BTP get accounts global account show hierarchy. In fact, we'll just do that, right? Show hierarchy. Hopefully it's there. Yes, there it is. Okay, there we go. So in fact, let's put that into the hierarchy.txt. There we go. And then we'll just cat the hierarchy.txt, make sure we got it. There we go. Okay. Oh, somebody said something. Ronnie, good morning, Ronnie. Howdy. Finally sliding in fashionably late. Oh, yes. But that's good. So Ronnie, actually, you enter at the exciting time of where we're going to see that parsing complex output like this, complex text output, can get a little bit hairy and a little bit brittle. Now, I will sort of... Am I defending the Unix philosophy? If this were, operating to a more true traditional Unix philosophy, the separators between each of these columns here, and you wouldn't have column titles either, wouldn't be it wouldn't be spaces, it would be tabs, okay? And then the space here would be okay. But it's not tabs, it's all white space. It's all spaces, which really messes up and makes more brittle the thing we're trying to parse, okay? So, in a way, you can say that, this output doesn't really comply with traditional Unix philosophy text output, which makes it brittle and difficult to parse. But there's an alternative, which we've seen. We can look at the JSON, but we'll look at that shortly, okay? Loving the terminal. Oh, that's a horrible Swedish chef pronunciation. Apologise for that. Sorry, Ronnie. The free drinks are finished. Ah, damn. Okay. So yeah, let's go and try and parse. Where were we? We did that down there. There we go. Hierarchy.txt. What happens? We'll get rid of the read thing now. We don't need that. There, we'll just do that bit again, what we've been doing. There's the directory that is the GUID for. There's, we found the string hands on SCP dev dir in there, which is that thing, and we've spat out that and that, okay? With the -o, it captures that thing and it captures that thing. It doesn't capture because look ahead assertions and look behind assertions, whether negative or positive, are not captured. They're not consumed. They don't consume the string that you're regexing over. Okay. Now, what happens if we say, what's it called? Another directory. Another space directory. Another directory. That's fine. What am I trying to show here? I can't remember. That's fine. Oh, yes. But what if I wanted to parse that whole word? How would I know how far to get? If I wanted to get a list dynamically of the things in the display name column, okay, yeah, we can search for that here. But if I wanted to get a list of display names, where would I search up to? Would I search up to the first white space? In which case it would work for that one, work for that one, work for that one, work for that one, but it wouldn't work for this one. Do I then work out what the maximum width of the directory of the column is and then search up to that thing? That becomes a little bit already. Again, like I say, ideally, the separators between these different columns should be tabs, but they're not, okay? So it's going to mess us up. So with that in mind, how much? Oh, we got 15 minutes left, okay. With that in mind, bring your own bottle. It is a bring your own bottle. So Andrew says, but this output is at least consistent from column. It is, exactly. So we could, we could go into the down the columns route, okay. But anyway, we won't, because there's a much more predictable way, which is JSON. But while we do that there, let's just grab this and let's just fill out this script a little bit. In fact, what we'll do here is we'll say cat hire.text just to stop hammering the BTP calls. We'll just cat that out, and then okay, that's fine, that's working. So now what we'll say is we'll just bring this in, okay? We'll bring this line in. Should we just bring it in there? No, let's write it together so we make mistakes. There we go. Where is it? There. So we'll say, what are we calling the variables? Subtype and GUID. Okay, we'll call it the same thing, subtype and GUID. And then we'll say, let's do it first of all sort of manually. Let's say grep -p -o. Also what we want, of course, is the display name. And then we want to say display name equals 1. So we're going to pass in from main, from what do we call it, the display name. And also what we're going to do here then is we'll say here BG and then trial. Let's just do trial, okay? There. Then we'll say here, are we cutting that in that? Get hierarchies, get hierarchy. There we go. Okay, so now we can say echo display. You selected display name. Okay, so we can just see you selected trial. Okay, fine. So now we'll say here hierarchy. We're not using hierarchy, so we'll say here grep -p -o. What we did before. We're going to use the let's see here, anchor to the start of the line, either subaccount or directory. In fact, let's just go to here. Yeah, let's just grab that visually and just grab it up to there, enter. There, okay, directory, and then we'll say display name up to there. There we go. Let's make that a little bit smaller there. Okay, fine. But where do we want to get it? From the hierarchy. There. So we have wrap, set, wrap. There we go, hierarchy. Now, so what that is doing, let's just get rid of that one. There we go, we found it. Okay, so now we want to say read -r subtype and GUID from the output of there, and then we'll say echo the type is subtype, echo the GUID is GUID. Okay, so that is that. Are we all okay? Yeah, all okay for time as well. So that's what we're doing here, and then really what we want to output. By the way, the reason we're getting the type is so we can. In fact, let's just grab this bit as well. Okay, let's grab this and just edit it as well. So which BTP GUID open read only. Let's go down here. Let's just grab this bit of the function here because I can't be bothered typing all that in. Yank that. Go back to here and paste that in there. Okay, fine. So we'll get rid of that, get rid of that. Set the sub. So what we're doing here is we're saying if we've specified in -1, oh yeah, display, oh yeah, there we go. So because we might want to specify a -t or a -- target, we can't just say, let's take the display name as whatever is passed as the first parameter, because the first parameter might be -t or -- target. So what we'll say is, we'll try and get the second parameter. But if there isn't a second parameter, the colon minus is parameter expansion in bash to say if that doesn't have a value, if that's unset, then go and get then the value instead should be the value of the first parameter. Okay, so that's that. RC on, oh, there we go, unbound variable. Oh yes. Now this is quite interesting because normally I just set error exit and pipe fail, but I don't set the unbound variable thing here. So this is saying, oh, you've got this return code RC variable here, okay, but it's unbound. It's not, you know. So let's just RC. There we go, unbound. Let's not even go there. First of all, let's get rid of this UO. That's quite new there. There we go. There we go. So fine. Let's put RC in a local though. There we go. Are we still okay, by the way? Are we still okay? Let me know. Cat hierarchy text. There we go. And we say here now, if we say, yeah, so if $1 is minus T or $1 is minus target, then not only do we want to spit out the GUID, but we also want to use the BTP target to set that GUID that we've determined as the target. But what type of target? If we have a look here, let's go here, BTP target. Let's just zoom that in. Help. We can specify either a directory or a subaccount. Okay, so we need to know whether it's a directory or a subaccount. So we're just actually grabbing the subtype from the thing, so we can specify it dynamically. So let's run that now. Let's get over here. If we say, let's just bring that down here instead. If we say bg trial, it'll give us that. And if we say, what other things have we got here? Hands on SAP dev dir, right? bg hands on SAP dev dir. It'll give us the ID for that. 58A1, is that right? 58A1, yes. But if we say, oh, in fact, let's just have this here. Let's have it. In fact, let's have it here on this side here. Watch BTP. Let's make that. There we go. So we can now see. Where are we? There we go. We can now see what the current target is. Okay. So if we change that now, bg hands on SAP dev dir, it'll just give us the ID. But if we say bg target or minus T, hopefully it'll run the target command. There we go. And it's changed because it's run the target command to set the directory as a target. Okay. So we can say bg target hands on it sub, the sub account, and it's targeted that sub account, and because the sub account lives in that directory, we see that sort of hierarchical descent there. Okay, so that's that. So that's a really basic. We've got rid of that we've written from scratch with no comments. In fact, let's get rid of that now because we don't want this a static bit of information. That is a really cut down BTP GUID script. Okay. And we can use that to go and get the GUID, and then you see that's the thing. This is usable, super usable. Why would you use this? If I wanted to create, have I got something here? Let's get rid of that. I keep going back to that. If I wanted to create a sub account in this new directory, okay, let's try. Well, first of all, bg another directory. We can get the ID. So now I can say, in fact, let's do that. Let's do that on this thing here, right? Yeah, there we go. I could say here, watch, just keep going, okay? And then, we're getting too excited. So we'll have that displayed. I want it a little bit smaller. Tell you what we'll do. I'm just wondering now. I want it to be truncated, but that doesn't play well with watch. If I say BTP get accounts, I've no idea what I'm doing here. Global account show hierarchy cut C1 tput calls like that. Oh, right. Show hierarchy, 2 dashes. That'll truncate it. Okay, so I can make it bigger again. Hopefully, is that again? Grr. Perfect. Bit bigger. Now I can say watch. Grr. Oh no. Of course, has a different context. Okay. All right. What we'll do then? What we'll do is not mess about with that. Is we'll just run it. Grr. There. Okay. Fine. So I'll say here now. BTP creates accounts. Directory. Should we create a directory in a directory? Why not? Accounts directory. What do we need for that? We can specify a parent directory. So this is where it comes in. So a display name a child directory. Parent directory is a GUID. We need to specify the GUID of the directory we want to be the parent. So this is where a script like BTP GUID comes in. Okay. Yes, they are. They are. They're also in the blog post. But I'll send some information about where they are. They're in basically my doc files. You know, they're just helper scripts. They're in my doc files. So parent directory, and then we say the result of BG. In our case, our little sort of local script, local to this directory. This is why we're saying /BG. What's it called? Another directory. Okay, so now hopefully that should create this directory called a child directory in there it is. A child directory is inside another directory. So that's why things like these little scripts that you can use to wrap around the wonderful BTP CLI are super useful. This is useful for me. Maybe it's useful for you as well. But of course, this is the only type of thing you can write to use the BTP CLI. You can do it to automate all sorts of things: creation, destruction of resources, setting things up, checking things, monitoring things, and so on. It's 8:57. So let me know. Would you all be okay if we continued this and moved to starting parsing JSON? I'll give you a bit of a taster because I've just discovered recently, it's amazing. If we have a look at BTP get accounts, global account show hierarchy, but we want the actual format JSON. Let's just put that into hierarchy.json for a second. We can see, this is what we saw right at the start. Okay, we got some more children. Now we've got 2 directories, 2 direct children. There's a wonderful explorer called interactive JQ. You're going to be using JQ command line, JSON processor. But IJQ is absolutely perfect for what we want to do. If I can type in hierarchy.json. Are you ready? It will give us on the left-hand side the input, on the right-hand side the output, and it will allow us to experiment with JQ expressions. So I could say, for example, give me the GUID. There, give me the GUID, .GUID. Okay, give me the display name, display name. But you can do all sorts of things. For example, .children. Give me the children. Give me the children. How many are there? Length. If I can spell length. There are 2 children there. Okay, so that's it. We're going to finish now, but we're going to use this to explore the JSON output from the get accounts, global account show hierarchy, and then we'll work out how to parse that to get the same information. And it's going to be a lot less brittle. It's going to be more reliable, and we'll then modify our BG script to use that instead. So thanks so much for joining. That went really quick. Oh my goodness me. So have a great rest of day and a great weekend. Did you hear my laugh of delight? No, what about IJQ? I'm guessing it's about IJQ because I think you like the same things as me. So yeah, so thanks so much for joining. Thanks for being interactive. And I'll see. Let's do part 2 on Friday next week. Bye for now.